During this period, lot of things will happen, and during those and all those different things are these. This one, post-transcriptional processing of the pre-mRNAs in eukaryote. Basically, it is not a post-transcriptional, but rather it will be the co-transcriptional. Co-transcriptional. It is like a misnomer. Earlier scientists understood that, that these things happens once the transcription is complete and the RNA is processed after the transcription is complete. That's why they gave this name post-transcriptional processing. However, now we know that the post-transcriptional processing does not happen after the transcription is complete. Rather, this processing starts before the transcription is complete. So rather we shall call it co-transcriptional processing of the not a pre-mRNA. It could be it should be the of nascent. It should be the of nascent RNA transcript, nascent mRNA transcript. That should be the case. Okay, so anyway, these nascent mRNA transcripts undergo various processing, and the first processing is the 5' capping. So what happened during the 5' capping? So this is the RNA, this is the RNA, and this is the first nucleotide. This is the first nucleotide. So the first nucleotide will always contain the triphosphate alpha, beta, and gamma. So the first nucleotide, let imagine this is the N1. N1 is the first nucleotide. It will have the alpha phosphate. Okay, the first nucleotide, it will have a phosphate, and phosphate, alpha, beta, and gamma. So then what happened next? The nucleotide will come N2. So this N1 will have a OH, 3' OH, and this N2 will also have a 3 phosphates, and then this O will attack on the alpha phosphate and will make a covalent bond. These 2 phosphate, the beta and gamma, will be removed. So this covalent bond will be formed. So at the end, what will happen? The N1 and the N2 will be polymerized, and the N1 will still have its own triphosphates. Okay, anyway, but now let's focus on the first nucleotide. So what happened with the first nucleotide of the primary transcript or the nascent transcript? This gamma phosphate is removed by an enzyme phosphohydrolase, and the alpha and beta are still there. And then a free GTP molecule comes with the alpha, beta, and gamma. Means GTP means guanosine triphosphates. It will come. So what will happen here? It will remove, the same enzyme will remove this pyrophosphate, guanylyl transferase. It will remove the pyrophosphate. So the G will be left with the alpha phosphate only, and with the alpha phosphate, so the G alpha phosphate, they will make a bond here. So it will become GPPP. So this was the alpha, then this was the beta, and this was the alpha. Okay, so this alpha, beta, and alpha triphosphate will be there between the G and first nucleotide of the RNA. And then there is a one more enzyme, guanine methyltransferase, and it uses a substrate that is called adomate, that give a methyl group. So methyl group is added on the 7th carbon of the guanosine. So it becomes 7-methyl guanosine, alpha, beta, alpha triphosphate, and first nucleotide of the mRNA. So this entire structure, so this 7-methyl guanosine added to the 5' phosphate of the first nucleotide is called as a cap. So this is called cap, or let's suppose 5' cap. And in this 5' cap, this is the G, then the phosphate, then another phosphate, then another phosphate, and then the first nucleotide of the mRNA. Okay, so this is alpha, this is beta, and this is alpha. If I put like a new color, so this G, this one comes from the GTP, and this one comes from the first nucleotide, and here there is a bond. So this bond is 5 prime 5 prime. So generally the bond between two nucleotides in RNA and DNA, so this is one nucleotide and this is another nucleotide. Okay, so the bond between two nucleotides, any N1 and N2 nucleotides in DNA or RNA is generally 5 prime to 3 prime, but this bond is a specific bond where the bond is 5 prime to 5 prime, and then also it will be the 5 prime alpha phosphate to 5 prime beta phosphate. Keep that one in mind, alpha phosphate and beta phosphate, and here will be G, and here will be your first nucleotide of the RNA. So this entire structure is called cap. Okay, once this cap is formed, and during the cap formation, this is the reaction what basically happens. It is like, see, this is the G, this is the G, this is the 7th position of the atom, and this is methylated, and this is the sugar residues of the G, this is the 5 prime, this is the alpha phosphate, and then this is the first nucleotide of the RNA, this is the 5 carbon, and this is the alpha phosphate, and this is the beta phosphate, and this is the 5 prime. You may remember this is the 5 prime, and this carbon is also 5 prime. So the linkage between these two nucleotides, this G and then this first nucleotide is the 5 prime end here and the 5 prime carbon here. So these 3 phosphates are between the two 5 prime carbon, so that's why it is called 5 prime 5 prime. All right, okay, so basically what happens, where this capping happens, the capping does not happen in the nucleoplasm, but it happens here. So there is a cap synthesizing complex that is bound to the phosphorylated sites and the C-terminal domain. Once this RNA transcript comes out, the nascent transcript is cached or plucked up by this cap binding synthesizing complex, and this cap synthesizing complex, all these enzymes are there, and then they will make this cap, whatever you have seen, this cap structure, this one, this cap, they will make this cap, and once this cap will be formed, so in this cap synthesizing complex there will be in the vicinity, there will be another complex that will be the cap binding complex. So basically there will be in the vicinity, it is not like they will be like they come from the solution, they will be in the vicinity. So what will happen, they will go and bind here. Once they will bind here, this cap synthesizing complex will be released, and that cap will be bound by the cap binding complex, and this cap binding complex, when the cap binding complex will be bound to this cap, the cap binding complex again bind to the same position on the C-terminal domain, and this cap binding complex will be bound to the C-terminal domain, as well as it will be bound with the cap of the mRNA. So in this way, this mRNA will always be bound to the C-terminal domain through this cap binding complex, or cap binding protein, or cap binding complex, and this 5' cap, and through this 5' cap, this RNA, the nascent RNA or nascent transcript is always attached or be glued or be fixed with the RNA polymerase, and the RNA polymerase keep moving. So this nascent RNA will also keep moving along with the RNA polymerase. So now next what will happen? The splicing. So when the splicing is the RNA is the excising out of the introns. So when it is about the introns, so then we will talk about the different type of introns, but I will leave that different type of introns, but I will simply jump up to the splicing process. I will talk about this different introns later, but let's see what basically happens during the splicing. This one. See, this was the C-terminal domain. This is the C-terminal domain. In the C-terminal domain, this cap and cap binding complex will remain bound to the C-terminal domain, and the C-terminal domain also acts as a docking site for various other complexes, and only 2 of complexes are shown here, and they are the spliceosomal complex. There are other complexes also, but for the for simplicity, only these spliceosomal complexes are shown here. Okay, so the once this RNA transcript during the transcription comes out, so the exonic part is out, and now the intronic parts started synthesizing, and once this intronic sequences is out, the intronic sequences has a 2 splice sites or recognition site at the 5' junction, at the 3' junction. So there are 2 spliceosomal complex, the one recognize the 5' site, another recognize the 3' site. So once the 5' site is out, it is caught by this subunit, and the 3' site is caught by this subunits, and once these two sites are caught by this spliceosomal complex, they are held together, and then they catalyze the splicing reaction between the 2 ends of the exons, the 3' end of the exon of the previous exon and the 5' end of the later exon, and then they will catalyze a reaction that is called transesterification reaction. And after the transesterification reaction, the exon 1 will be ligated or joined by the exon 2, and the intron will be spliced out. So next what will happen? The exon 2 will come out, or maybe then the intron 2 will come out, and once the intron 2 will come out, that intron will again be spliced out in the same fashion. So the splicing also keep happening during the transcription. So the splicing does not happen once the entire RNA is transcribed. No. So it is not like a post-transcriptional processing. It is co-transcriptional processing. Keep that one in mind. So now that is also, sometimes we get the wrong image about the concept. It's a co-transcriptional processing of the RNA. Capping also happens while the transcription is going on, and the splicing also happens while the transcription is still going on. After the splicing, once the RNA polymerase reaches towards the transcription stop side, then the transcription termination happens. So how the transcription termination happens in eukaryotes is a very difficult mechanism, but what happened at the C-terminal domain itself, there are many JAK complexes which are involved in RNA cleaving and polyadenylation. So there will be one enzyme, terminal polymerase, terminal transferase enzyme, basically that is there, and there is one enzyme that is the RNA endonuclease that will cut the DNA. Basically what happens, that towards the end of the transcription termination site, so let's suppose here somewhere, you know, the transcription termination site is there, that maybe that is the end of the gene somewhere. So what happened before the transcription termination site, so there is a signal sequence which is in the DNA. When the RNA polymerase move to that part is transcribed into the RNA, and in that RNA this signal sequence contains this sequence AAU AAA, and there are multiple repeat sequences, and these sequences will recognize by a protein called CPSF and CSTF. So these CPSF and CSTF will bind to these sequences, and after once they bind to these sequences, these proteins has like a cleavage activities, so they will cut a certain distance. For example, here this is the cleavage site, and this is the AAUA, where this protein this protein CPSF and CSTF, they will bind. CPSF and CSTF, they will bind here, and after binding 10 to 30 nucleotide away or maybe downstream, they will make a cut in the RNA transcript. Okay, once they will make the cut, and basically there is another sequence that is somewhat 30 nucleotide away, that is GU-rich sequences. Some proteins binds here also. So these proteins also send a signal to these complexes that where to cut. So basically this sequence and this sequences decide where has to be made the cleavage, and once they made the cleavage, okay, they made the cut, and here in the C-terminal domain there is a poly A protein, poly A binding protein, and there is a poly A polymerase, and this poly A and polymerase which is there in the C-terminal domain. So basically this RNA which is coming out, okay, here, so they will make a cut, and once they will make a cut by the cleavage, and after cutting, these enzyme poly A start adding the poly A, okay, and after they add the poly A, there are the many protein poly A binding proteins, they will add the poly A binding protein. So the poly A binding proteins will bind to this, and see here this is the poly A polymerase. Poly A polymerase keep adding A to the RNA, and once this RNA is formed, they will be recruited or bound by this poly A binding protein. Okay, that what happened here, that is what will happen here at the cleavage site, like this one at this OH. The more and more A will be added, and those A will be bound by the poly A binding proteins. Then what will happen, this part means this let's imagine this is the RNA pol, and of course there will be C-terminal domain. Okay, so the C-terminal domain will make a cut here, okay, and this is bound by cap here. So what will happen, okay, and then so this is the RNA, it will be 5 prime phosphate, and this will be the, now this will be added with A and A and A, okay, and then poly A binding proteins. So what will happen, this polymerase will keep moving. So the polymerase will now will be moved here. So here will be more and more A, there will be more A, and they will be bound by the proteins, poly A binding proteins. But this RNA which is being synthesized will be more and more synthesized, okay, but this is unprotected 5 prime will be recognized by 5 prime exonucleases, and these exonucleases will start achieving the RNA still being synthesized. So this exonuclease, let's imagine this is the exonuclease. This exonuclease will start degrading and will move to this RNA polymerase. It will move towards the RNA polymerase. When it will move to the RNA polymerase, the two will interact, and that interaction will lead to the conformational change. And that will lead to the fall of RNA pol. It will lead to the fall of the RNA pol. So the RNA pol will fall off. So this will be the cap, and it will be like a poly A here, okay, and this one RNA will be removed, and the DNA will be free. So in this way your transcription will terminate. Remember, so this part of the RNA where the transcription and termination site, exactly the end of the gene is there, cannot be जो है कि investigated or cannot be found, because that will never become the part of this mature RNA. Mature mRNA will never be part of the mature RNA, and by analyzing the mature mRNA we cannot get the sequence of this part of the gene, that's why it is difficult to tell the exact position of the end of a mRNA gene in eukaryote, that is transcription termination site. The sequence of the transcription termination site is difficult to identify in eukaryotes, because the RNA transcript is cleaved much before than the transcription stop site, so it is very difficult to deduce the sequence from the mRNA analysis. Okay, so the transcription termination we have also discussed, and after this transcription, the mature transcript is the cleaved, the poly A has been added, and the poly A will be covered by the poly A binding proteins. So almost like a 200 to 250 A is added to the cleaved part of the transcripts. So if nascent transcript was like 1000 nucleotide long, So after processing it will become 1250 nucleotide long. Okay, so I will end this lecture at this position. So remember, we have discussed the initiation and the elongation and the termination and all these, the processing, what happens to the eukaryotic mRNA. But there is something we left or skipped in between, was about different type of introns. So in the next lecture we will talk about the different type of introns, and then we will also talk about the transcription of other type of RNAs. This was the transcription about the mRNA type of RNA, and then we will discuss next time in the transcription of the ribosomal RNA and the tRNA. Okay, so we will pause the lecture at this moment, and we will be back in the next class. Okay, thank you very much for this day.